Deuteron wave function. Now the relation between the strength and the age parameter of the Deuteron is a constant quantity. Here everything is constant. And looking closely into this expression, you see that this range and depth relation is independent of the normalization constants a and b in the wave function. Because there are two constants in the wave function, a and b. And a and b is absent here. So this relation is independent of the normalization constants a and b. Now the wave function, we have considered a hardcore square well potential of this type, where this pore radius was C and the range of the potential is B. Now here the potential was, wave function was of this form. Now inside the potential well, that is in region 2, inside the potential well, the wave function we have written it is U2, region 2, it was A sin K R minus C. And the another outside the range of the potential, there is U3 region, that is B to the power minus alpha. Now, according to normalization condition, that is the total probability is unity. What we write? That is integral from C to infinity U naught square dr, that is equal to 1. Now because our hardcore radius is C, so beyond C the wave function is 0, so we have to normalize from C to infinity, that is outside the range of the interaction. So and as the particle is, we know that it is a Deuteron problem, so within the well range of the potential, the particle, the nucleons are fully confined. The normalization condition is important in case of bound state problem, because in case of bound state problem we need to normalize the wave function, but in case of scattering state problem, that is positive energy states, the normalization is not important. When we go to the scattering theory, then there will be no need to normalize the wave function. Now this is the condition. Now therefore one can break this integral into two parts. One is from C to C plus B. The wave function is U2 mod square dr, plus another is from C plus B to infinity, that is U3 mod square dr, that is equal to 1, because this is the region 2 C to C plus B and region 3 is C plus B to infinity. Now if we substitute the values of U2 and U3 here, then what we get? That is here the is a square C to C plus B. Your function was sin square A R minus C plus B square C plus B to infinity e to the power minus 2 alpha r dr, that is equal to 1. Now sine square, we know that 2 sine square theta is equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta. Applying that relation, we calculate this integral and it can be evaluated as it is. Now, if we evaluate these integrals, so in that case, what we get? It is from this you get a square by 2 integral c to c plus b. There is 1 minus cos twice ar minus c dr plus b square. If we integrate this by minus 2 alpha e to the power minus 2 alpha r c plus b to infinity, that is equal to 1. Now evaluating and substituting the limits, what we get? This is a square by 2 b minus 1 by twice k sine twice kb plus b square by 2 alpha e to the power minus 2 alpha c plus b, that is equal to 1. So we get one equation here involving two constants a and b. But to solve this a and b, we need another equation. Now, from the boundary condition on our wave function, that means the at r equal to c plus b, the u2 and u3 will be equal and their derivatives are equal. So from the boundary condition, we get another relation from the boundary conditions on the wave functions at r equal to b plus c. What we get? We get two equations. One is that the equating the wave function at the boundary, you get a sine kb equal to b e to the power minus alpha b plus c, and another is derivative, that is a k sine. If you derive it, take the derivative of this, that is a k cos kb, that is equal to minus alpha b minus alpha b e to the power minus alpha b plus c. Now these two equations, suppose that 2a and 2b. Now if we square and add these two equations, then we get another relation between a square and b square. So squaring and adding equation 2a and 2b, is equation 1. Squaring and adding equations 2a and 2b. What we get? We get a square equal to b square into 1 plus alpha square by k square e to the power minus 2 alpha b plus c. So this is equation number 3. So we get two equations. One is equation number 1, another is equation number 3 involving two constants. So by eliminating we can find a and b. Now from equations 1 and 3, if we substitute the value of a square from equation 3 into equation 1, then the a will be eliminated and we get b square by 2 1 plus alpha square by k square into b minus 1 by twice k sin twice ab plus b square by 2 alpha e to the power minus alpha, sorry, 2 alpha b plus c, that is equal to 1. It is b square by 2 alpha e to the power minus 2 alpha b plus c. Then what we get? Alpha into 1 plus alpha square by k square into b minus 1 by twice k sin twice k. It is equal to 1. Now therefore one can write b square or b so we write b square equal to twice alpha e to the power 2 alpha into b plus c divided by 1 plus alpha into 1 plus a square by b square into b minus 1 by twice k sin twice kb. This is the value of b square. Now, as we are concerned here with the ground state, we know that in the ground state kb is equal to pi by 2. Okay. Now, for the ground state, which I have found earlier, the roots of the equation, that is kb. For ground state, because we are concerned here with the neutron ground state, for ground state, we put kb is equal to pi by 2. If we substitute here pi by 2, so this is sin pi, so this term is 0, so you get it 1 plus alpha in the denominator, alpha b into this term. Now, therefore, we get b square equal to, for the ground state, b square is equal to 2 alpha e to the power 2 alpha into b plus c divided by 1 plus alpha b, because this term is 0, 1 plus a square by b square. So b is equal to, you get twice alpha e to the power alpha b plus c into 1 plus this term alpha b 1 plus a square by b square to the power minus up now if we make here a binomial expansion of this term, then what we get? B is equal to then D will be equal to 2 alpha to the power half e to the power alpha b plus c now we expand this one, we get 1 minus alpha b by 2 1 plus alpha square by kappa square now as alpha b is a very small quantity, as alpha b is small, so we neglect say higher order terms. It is higher powers of alpha b are neglected. That's why you are not calculating alpha square b square term is not written in this expression. Now under this approximation, if alpha b is very small, then one get b equal to, that is approximately equal to 2 alpha to the power of 1 plus half alpha b plus alpha c. This will be the value of b. That means we have to expand this also e to the power x. Alpha b is very small, so you also expand it and then take the product and you will get this one. So this is the value of b. So once we get value of b, then substituting this value of b in equation number 3 or in equation number 1, one gets the value of a. So if we substitute it in equation number 3, substituting four in 3, what we get? We get a equal to 2 alpha to the power of 1 minus half alpha. So these are the two normalized constants a and b, which are important because as it is a bound state problem, for the bound state normalization is very important because the total probability is conserved. It should be equal to 1. Now, what you did here, actually you put this value of b square into the equation and then find the value of a and then take the approximation alpha b is small, then you get this expression. Now we find the average or mean radius of the deuterium, because we consider the nucleus is a sphere, it is spherical in shape, and in which two particles are there, one is neutron, another is proton. Then what is the average radius of this sphere? Now the average radius of the deuteron we shall find. Average radius of deuterium. Now the average radius of the deuteron means this is the average radius between the two particles, say neutron and the proton. Now therefore, from the quantum mechanical definition, the average radius is given by the average distance between the two particles, one neutron and a proton, that is given by R bar, that is C2 C plus B, that is R into psi mod square, that is R U2 mod square, R U2 is your square sine K R minus C. We are according to quantum mechanical definition, psi mod square R. This is one thing. Finally, we put the value of A plus another C plus B to infinity R B square e to the power minus 2 alpha R dr. We have to calculate these two integrals. Now, this is sine square, so we write it in that form, that is a square C2 C plus B R, you get here half 1 minus cos twice A R minus C dr plus here B square and this one C plus B to infinity R e to the power minus 2 alpha R dr. Now, two quantities, so you have to integrate it by parts. First function remain unchanged, integration of the second, and then differential coefficient of this and integration of the second. Now, integrating by parts, have that is r bar average radius. This will be equal to a square r by 2 into r minus sine twice a r minus c divided by twice k c to c plus d minus half r square by 2 plus cosine twice k r minus c by twice by 4k square c to c plus d and the second term plus b square c plus b by 2 alpha e to the power minus 2 alpha b plus c plus e to the power minus 2 alpha b plus c by 4 alpha square now therefore you get the average radius r bar. If we make all these expression, put the limit, and finally we get r bar equal to twice alpha one minus alpha 1 minus half alpha b whole square into c plus d whole square by 4 minus c square by 4 plus 1 by 4 a square plus 1 plus half alpha b plus alpha c, all the generic values of a and b, into c plus b plus 1 by 2 alpha e to the power minus 2 alpha b plus c. This is the expression of the average radius of the deuteron. Now if we substitute here the parameters of the potential, we consider here a hardcore square potential for which there are 3 parameters. One is d0, strength of the potential or depth of the potential, another is b, and another is core radius c. Now for the well depth, Now we shall calculate what should be the average radius of the Deutschland, provided that d0 is equal to, if we consider it as a 40 MeV. 40 MeV is the depth of the potential, and value of K is 0.955, say Fermi inverse. B, the range is 1.895 Fermi, and alpha, the binding is 0.232 Fermi inverse, and core radius C is equal to 0.4 Fermi. If we substitute all these parameters in the equation, then the R will come out to be, this average radius, R bar will come out to be approximately 2.22 Fermi. If this is our square wave potential with this depth, with this range, and with this hardcore radius, then in that case the average radius of the deuteron, that is the average distance between the two nucleon, is of this. Now we consider it as a sphere. Now this is the radius, then what should be the diameter? Double of this. Now therefore the size of the nucleus or size of the deuteron, our radius is 2.22 Fermi. So the diameter or the size of the deuteron is of the order of, say, 4.44, about 4.5, a very large size. Now the range of the nuclear force, when two particles come close to within the range of the nuclear force, then only there will be interaction, otherwise not. Now the range of the nuclear force is generally, you will see here, that is of the order of the range of the nuclear force is of the order of 2 Fermi or maximum 2.5. If we consider here say of the order of 2 Fermi, then you see here, if the neutron is here and proton is here, that is the distance of the order of 4 Fermi, then there will be no interaction between them. So there is a question naturally, how many portion of the total time they remain within the range of nuclear force and how many percent of time they remain outside the range of the force. When they come within the 2 Fermi, there will be interaction, and when they go beyond 2 Fermi, there will be no interaction. Now we calculate the probability of finding the particles, neutrons and protons within the range of nuclear force inside the deuteron. Now the deuteron is a very large or say loosely bound structure. Radius is of the order of 2.22 Fermi, that means the diameter is of the order of like 4.5 Fermi. So the probability of finding the particles means neutrons and protons, neutron and proton, within the nuclear range. Now then what will be the probability of finding the particle within the nuclear range? Try to understand it. What is this is our well depth, and this is the core radius, the hard core, infinitely hard core. This is the depth of the potential D0, which you consider 40 MeV. Now this is C, core radius. Particle cannot go here beyond this. Now this is the range. So within, if the particles are within the range B, then only they will be within the nuclear force. Beyond this, they go outside the range of the nuclear force. So here probability of finding these two particles here in this region, that will be from C to C plus B, we have to integrate, that is U2. So here probability will be equal to from C to C plus B. From C to C plus B, U2 mod square dr. You have to find this integration. Okay. So P, the probability of finding the particle within the range of nuclear force. Here A is involved, you get a square. C to C plus B. What is the value of A sine? You get here sine square K R minus C dr. Okay. So we have to only integrate this one, because outside the range of the partition, beyond the range of the nuclear force, we are not interested in that part. We only interested in finding the particle within this distance B, C to C plus B. So here only this wave function inside the potential well that is used here. Now, if we integrate this, 2 sine square theta, you write in that form, that is a square by 2 C to C plus B, 1 minus cos 2 K R minus C dr. If we calculate this, then you get P will be equal to probability of finding the particle inside this a square by 2 B minus sine twice KB by 2K, sine twice KB by twice K. Now if we substitute the value of A is known to us, then in that case we get alpha 1 minus half alpha B whole square into B minus sine twice KB by 2. Now for ground state, we know that we used that KB is equal to pi by 2. So for the ground state, KB equal to pi by 2. For KB is equal to pi by 2. What we get? A probability of finding the particle within the range of nuclear force, that will be equal to alpha B into 1 minus half alpha B whole square. Because this part is 0, so you get alpha B into this whole square. Now we know the parameters for alpha equal to 0.232 Fermi, equal to, if we consider 1.895 or approximately 2 Kelvin. There are only two parameters are here, alpha and B. Substitute these values as we have considered that the square root potential or base 40 MeV. Then in that case the P will come approximately 0.3. 0.3, that means the 0.3 means 30% of the time the nucleons are within the range of nuclear potential. Range of the potential, and rest 70% and 70% of the total time they remain outside the potential range. That means when the two particles are within the deuteron, one neutron and proton, only 30% of the total time they comes within the range of nuclear force. Otherwise 70% they remain outside the range of the force. Because the deuteron has a very large structure, large radius of the order of about say 4.5 Fermi. Now so here we consider in case of deuteron problem, we have studied the bound states, that is the negative energy state, and we consider the deuteron is in the ground state, which is an S state. The deuteron ground state equal to angular momentum 0. Now okay, this spin dependence, that means here we consider that the ground state is equal to 0, but it is found that the experiment, the deuteron exists in this, it is ground state with total spin J is equal to 1. What is J? J is equal to L plus S, that is equal to L plus S. So L is 0, so the total spin is equal to 1. Now there are two particles, two spin half particles, one is neutron, another is a proton. So the total spin, two spin half particle, half plus half, so that is equal to 1. Total spin 1. Now there is another possibility that the two spins may not be parallel. Another possibility is half minus half, that is 0. So this is total spin is 1. So the projection on the symmetry axis, you get here 3 projection, plus 1, 0, minus 1, and here there is only one projection because S is equal to 0. So here you get 3 projection. So it is written as 3s1. What is the spectroscopic notation? As you are familiar with this one, 3 is the multiplicity, 1, 2, 3, 3 multiplicity. S state, this is total spin value, J, 1. And this is your 1s0. Only one singlet state. This is triplet state. 3 possibilities. 1 stands for multiplicity, singlet. S state, total spin, 0. Now, which one is, if this is the bound state, because the experimenter says that the total deuteron spin in its ground state is equal to 1, then whether in the singlet state the deuteron is bound or unbound. So this is the question. Okay. The next class we shall discuss this one.